Hello, I'm Philip Duncan. Thanks for joining us for our weekend weather update and the outlook for next week. And we are tracking ex-cyclone Uesi. And it's important to note that even though it has become reclassified, a lot of people see that as being downgraded, and it's not. It's just simply losing its technical tropical cyclone status, but it is still a cyclone. It's still producing very similar winds as it moves in to New Zealand. All tropical storms go through this process when they reach about this line here, just north of New Zealand, and that's because they're getting out of the tropics and into the cooler weather, and the sea temperatures are lower in this part of the world. Although right now, the Tasman Sea is a couple of degrees above average, but it's still cooler than the tropics. So the storm goes through a process, but I wanted to show you these two maps. It's not animated, but I wanted to show you these two wind maps showing Friday, when the storm is still pretty much Category 2 cyclone, and where it'll be on Sunday, 48 hours later. And as you can see, it doesn't really change a great deal. It's still a storm, and it's still coming in with the strong winds and the heavy rain. So I just wanted to show you those two wind maps before we show you the rest of the forecast, because the fact that it's no longer a tropical cyclone doesn't mean it is no longer a storm. But we do have some good news, and the good news is that for the most part, it is affecting our least populated part of New Zealand. It's going to be mostly impacting Fiordland and Westland. Now there'll be a little bit more rain that spreads into more populated areas and some wind, but as you'll see in a moment, the bulk of it is in that southwestern corner. So as we go in towards the weekend, Saturday is dry over the North Island. You will notice the humidity changing though over the next few days as the winds tilt more northerly or northeasterly, or at least northerly quarter, and it's coming out of the subtropics, so it'll be warmer. The storm is offshore on Saturday. Apart from a bit of cloud on high cloud, you won't be seeing much of the effects of that storm just yet. But on Sunday, it does come in quite quickly. So the rain arrives in the morning, the winds pick up as the day goes on, and the damaging winds are just in this zone here. So that is mostly around Fiordland National Park and Westland and south of the glaciers. That's the good news. It's not really in the more populated areas. But the rain is pretty widespread. It does spill over into parts of Southland as well, and there'll be some rain into Western Otago. Everyone else is either dry or mainly dry, a couple of showers around, and much warmer around in Canterbury and the eastern side of the North Island, which for Friday was cooler. You'll feel that heat again back by Sunday. So that is a serious storm to watch for. The rain is the main feature, although the seas are also going to be rough and dangerous. 8-metre waves along the west coast around Sunday and going into parts of Monday. But as you can see on Monday, the remnants of Uesi dropping down into the Southern Ocean and finally clearing away. But it's not completely finished with us. We've still got the rough waves coming in on the west coast, but we've got the leftovers out here, the remnants of the remnants, if you like. So that is sitting out at sea, just waiting to do something next week. So we'll get on to that. Obviously, this is how it looks on Monday. Once you get to Tuesday, the storm's tracking slowly away from us into the Southern Ocean. It's going a really weird direction. It's going that way. Normally they go that way. So it's just for a time down there, but the leftovers are still out here in the Tasman. So rain returns to the west coast, and there might be a couple of heavy falls. And here's the change for the North Island. With that humid airflow coming down and the leftover moisture from Uesi, we do expect some afternoon downpours. Don't really see them on that map there for Tuesday. A bit of a better chance on Wednesday in this zone here. Basically everywhere you see there has the risk of a shower. It's not widespread rain. It just means a couple of showers might bubble up and they'll drift sort of anywhere in that area. The pale blue is a lower risk, darker blue, higher risk, and there's some risks also in the South Island. And we get to Thursday of next week, and again, downpours around the North Island, even into the drought zones. Hit and miss, not everyone gets it, but some of you will have a bit of localized relief. And the leftovers of Uesi helping to form a new low in the Tasman. That's a good thing. We want it to move into the North Island, hopefully. And the final feature is the next likely tropical cyclone northeast of us, up around Tonga. Now that one at this stage is not expected to impact New Zealand, likely to be too far out to the east, but clearly close enough for us to monitor. And the last thing before I go, if you are in a drought zone, if you are desperate for rainwater, some of these afternoon downpours will bring relief, but it is not going to reverse the drought. For that we need a few weeks of afternoon downpours, or we get a decent low like one of these ones to come through. And for that to happen, we need this high pressure belt to basically clear away. That is all from me. Have a great weekend. We'll see you again on Monday.